How's it going, everyone? I'm Al, and today, this is a big one. This is the final game from the grand finals of the ESL Masters Summer over at Sweden. This one's going to be great. First of all, we have our Terran player. He is from South Korea. He had an amazing run. It's GuMiho. His opponent is our ZERG player, considered to be the greatest of all time. I think that's a good debate. He is Serral. The map for this one is altitude, and we see a pool first out of Serral. Now, full disclosure, I know what's happening at this one. I did watch the grand finals live. It was so great. So yeah, that's out the way. Now I can't remember the details, so I'm going to go through this go through this with you. But I do remember that this was a game of note. It is altitude, which is a macro map. It's very large, so you know your early game rushes and cheeses aren't necessarily successful. I mean, obviously depending on the strategy. And these players, Serral is, I honestly think he's the greatest of all time. Since he really hit his dominance in 2018, he's been so strong. And even, you know, for the last couple of months, he doesn't lose. He's like, he'll drop a map here and there, but he doesn't lose series. He's really insane. He just never stops. And he's constantly improving his playstyle. Like, he's not a stagnant player. He hasn't gotten stuck in a certain way. He keeps adapting, keeps changing. His opponent is one of my favorite Terran players because he does crazy things. It's GuMiho. He's awesome. And in this tournament, I mean, this is grand finals. GuMiho had an amazing run. He took out some really strong players on his way to get you. So we'll see what happens between these two. Now, Serral's Lings being a little bit annoying. Are they not hitting the SCV? No, they're actually aiming for the factory over here. Reaper's going to be able to chase them away. So it is the 6 Lings from Serral. One's going to keep pecking away at the CC on the low ground. But yeah, a little bit of an aggressive-ish opener. Not really super aggressive. Just a couple of Lings across the map with that early pull to keep GuMiho on his toes. Serral also does see the factory. So it's actually... It was supply depot, barracks, low ground command center, then a factory without building the second supply depot. And then we have a starport coming up here on the tech lab. Reaper's still hunting down the Zerglings. Marine and Helen are eventually going to catch it. But yeah, solid opener. Serral is now getting his third base. He is looking absolutely in a good position. Second base is almost pretty much fully saturated. The Reaper hasn't been able to do anything. How much does GuMiho know? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, he knows there's a pool. There was an early pool. And that's about it. It's Cloak coming up with a Viking initially. So the Viking's going to be used to drive out the Overlords. Make sure that GuMiho can do whatever trickery he wants to do without being spotted. Third CC is up. So 1, 1, 1. Well, in this order, I guess. Barracks, factory, starport. In a very GuMiho way, you know, not the normal way. And yeah, walling off here. Vikings gonna start, I was about to say, clearing out Overlords. Serral is still just powering up. He's getting his lair behind this. Reaper goes in, but yeah, no losses. Just a couple of Lings going down. Nothing too crazy. And first up for... Well, after the Viking... Oh. GuMiho was going for Cloak and then decided to change it into a Raven after he killed the Overlord. So a little bit of mind games and trickery going on here. GuMiho special. Behind this we see 2 more factories. It is mech. We'll see the variation of mech that he wants to try. I love that mech is a thing again, because mech is really fun. It is a fun playstyle to watch. It's something a little bit different from the bio. And it's great that Terran has these, you know, these two distinct playstyles, which each have their own types of playstyles within them. Actually going for the double armory. eBay also was up just for that. No. How many? Oh, you don't need an eBay. Yeah, you don't need an eBay for armory. My bad. You need the factory for armory. Okay. I like the Raven with the Hellions. Allows them to clear some creep. And yeah, you don't need to spend scans on it, so that all of those scans can instead be mules. Cyclone's coming up with the lock on range. So gonna be a little bit of battle mech to start with here. GuMiho immediately going into the upgrades. Ooh, the Hellions get in. That's a lot of Hellions. There are Zerglings. The target firing is not quite there. Queens chase away the Ravens. This one, oh, that's a brilliant block at the top of the ramp. Serral making sure those Hellions cannot get into the main base. That's still 7 workers that have gone down. The Queens and Zerging should now be able to clear this up. That could have been so much worse. That Queen making herself thick at the top of the ramp was proper clutch. Good job there by Serral. I mean, that was a lot of drones lost. 7 is a lot, but it did cost 10 Hellions. So luckily GuMiho did keep the Raven alive, so that's always great. But yeah, good little early game damage there. Blue Flame coming up as well. And here we see Hellion drop going to be happening probably into Serral's main base. Okay, so it's very quickly switching into tanks. So it's not going to be a... He's only made, what is that, 4? Yeah, he's only made 4 Cyclones. So it's not going to be super dedicated battle mech. He is going into tanks now, which... Oh, these Banelings do get spotted and found. Don't even get rid of that SCV. So it's going to be going into more traditional mech afterwards. I do like that. Serral behind this is expanding. He's got his 4th up. The Viking sees this. He's also going for infestation, but he's getting his upgrades, prioritizing the melee upgrades, as well as, which one's that? Roach speed? Yep. Overlord speed actually coming up as well. No, that's not the one I wanted. Overlord speed. So that Serral can make sure he has all the scouting information he might need. Ooh, I'm gonna go back here. Sorry, I missed the beginning part of that. I didn't see the red moving across the minimap. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so here we go have the Hellion run, or the Hellion drop. Run by, lol. And in they go, catching Serral really off guard. Blue Flame Hellions deal a lot of damage to workers. 7 straight off the bat. And now they become HELLBATS. HELLBATS are a real pain to deal with, especially when they've got Blue Flame. So Serral sends the roaches to kind of deal with them. And they should be dealt with. Whoa, come here. That was very high. Try to get the other one, but not happening. Thors. And then Infestor Energy Upgrade. Now we get +1 range. Serral's just getting a little bit of everything. 4th CC has been taken, turning into a planetary. So a couple of tanks, and then into Thors. I love this build from GuMiho. Now the risk always with a build like this is when the Zerg player, and this is really the good Zerg players, like Serral, if you give them time and space, that's not what I wanted. I thought I selected this. They're going to deal a lot, or they're not going to deal a lot of damage. They're going to expand insanely, and they're just going to keep expanding and keep growing and go up to a massive amount of drones. So GuMiho's got to be careful. Now he is flying around a single HELLBAT here so that he can keep a little bit of pressure on. Barracks is flying forward to do a little bit of scouting, and he's getting 3 factories behind this. Uh-oh. Oh. That's unfortunate. Good catch there by Serral. Fortunately, GuMiho is sleeping a little bit on the job. Hive coming up, as well as 5 infestors. 5 infestors. And the Spire. And Neural Parasite. Wow. Serral? You're at the ZERG buffet right now, getting a little bit of everything. I do believe that Serral knows how to deal with mech though. Good little micro, trying to keep those Hellions alive, get some value out of them. But overall, not too much gonna happen. Now we see a move out from GuMiho. This is where it gets dangerous. He is maxed out, so this is the time to move out. But yeah, this can be very, very dangerous. Going straight for the 4th base over here. Tank sieging up quite far back. I don't think this base is going to survive. Serral is trying to launch a counter-attack here. Well, not a counter-attack. Onto, well, he is at the same time with roaches. I'm stumbling and bumbling. I'm so excited about this one, but he is trying to break this position. Roaches do get stopped by a ginormous Thor. And, yeah, Thor's pretty strong. Spire is finished now. Straight into Greater Spire. Brood Lords on the cards. Adrenal Glands +2 for ranged. So yeah. Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. GuMiho's done this before. I've seen this before. He loads up HELLBATS and then he drops them on top of the ZERG army. And HELLBATS with blue flame, they can actually deal a decent amount of damage. So instead of going for ghosts, yeah, he's dropping them on the infestors. And those infestors get roasted. Now there are a couple of neurals that go down and GuMiho does lose some units. But I love that little drop. Interference matrix going down on the infestor actually. That's interesting. You don't always see that. Thor gets taken by Neural Parasite. It gets rid of the Raven. And Serral's going to use it. Yep. Destroys it. Now this is always the risk, because guys like Serral, they can use infestors and vipers, the spellcasters, and they can tear this Terran army, the slow, strong Terran army apart, because, you know, they take control of it. Now it's easier said than done. I've tried this on the ladder, and I mean, I am less than half of Serral's MMR, like a lot less, maybe a third of his MMR, and yeah, doesn't work. There we go, loading up the HELLBATS once again. Oh, I love this. This is an older playstyle, something that we used to see a lot. Not something that happens so much more anymore. Okay, a couple of roaches and lings are moving across. Here we go, lings running, trying to catch any reinforcements. So the Thors are the hard hitters, but those HELLBATS in the medevacs, they're there to just disrupt the ZERG army. Get behind, get onto the squishy units that Serral's trying so hard to protect. More infestors. How many is he up to now? He's got 4 or 5 more on the way. Okay, we see a couple more Neural Parasites. The HELLBATS being dropped once again right on top of that ZERG army. And they start shredding. They do a lot of damage. Semi-decent micro there. GuMiho getting most of his Thors out of range of those corrosive biles. Same time, there are a couple more things busy happening here at home. GuMiho's gonna have to deal with that eventually, and this is one of the problems, is that army is so slow. Okay, a couple of Thors and HELLBATS loaded up. Oh, dropping them once more. This puts the ZERG player in such an awkward position, because you do not want those units in the middle of your army. Banelings going forward. Yep, Thors don't really care too much. Good medevac micro there by GuMiho, getting most of those Thors out of trouble. Okay, well that's definitely not something you see every day. Thor has almost every Thor has its own medevac, and they go boosting across the map. Oh, I knew this was going to be a good one. These two players are something special. GuMiho playing this final game in his own GuMiho way. Now I wanted to cast the full series, but it is a little bit longer, and he's got to be very careful. There's some infestors there. He does see them with a scan. At the same time pushing on this base. But yeah, it's just the series becomes a little bit long, and I generally post videos on the YouTube for, you know, between 20 and 30 minutes. So, I mean, unless those of you watching are very happy to watch a longer series, I don't mind posting them, especially when I've got time to cast. That won't happen often. Ooh, battle cruisers. But yeah, let me know if you enjoy the longer series. So we're getting 3 battle cruisers at a time, your Yamato cannon, +1 ship weapons. GuMiho is going for the ultimate late game army. I'm still wondering, what is he trying to do there? He does not want to lose this. There is so much supply caught up in this little kind of whatever that is. Here we go. Serral gets rid of this base with the Roach Ravagers. The Infestors are close by. They are ready to do what they need to do to convert this army. It reminds me of the older monks from Age of Empires 2. Except that they don't go wall of law and they can go underground, so, you know. Not that I enjoyed the monk as a unit, but this one is a little bit less permanent. Okay, here we go. Serral's coming in. The sneaky Infestor Sharks are ready. Serral just trying to pick off a little bit here and there. These Thors are still flying around. They're getting repaired up now, while the medevacs are. A lot of tanks still. Both players are maxed out. They're getting nice banks. Serral has a bigger gas bank, so that's going to be important because obviously he can be making a lot more gas units. GuMiho not actually as efficient as I thought he would have been. But this is Serral that he's playing against. He's setting up his siege tanks now, and this is actually a really good position, able to attack this base on the right side of the map. Serral's getting his army together. This is going to be tricky to deal with. There are more battle cruisers being produced. GuMiho hasn't shown them just... Well, now Serral sees it. I was going to say he hasn't shown them, but yeah, the Zerglings go in, and they do get spotted. Siege tank setting up once again. A little bit late. Banelings do hit through. They get rid of all of the HELLBATS. It's a lot more siege tanks that are there. These Thors that are in these, they're going to give me anxiety because if they go down, that's game over. Oh, drops the Thors on top of the Infestors. One gets converted. He's trying to bile them. Battle cruisers are warping in. This game has become absolutely crazy. Oh, good biles. Oh, the battle cruisers have been neuroparasited, which means they are able to get off some great micro there with the medevacs. GuMiho able to save most of his thoughts. The battle cruisers are back under his control, but the corruptors are starting to deal with them. More neuroparasite, more corrosive biles. That's a bunch of Thors that get hit there. GuMiho lacking a little bit on the micro here. Last battle cruiser does fall. He's making 2 more. Picks up, tries to get out. Now he's got to be really careful with these corruptors. Another tank goes down. GuMiho's supply is dropping and Serral is still maxed out. Obviously, a lot of those units are stuck in production. Oh, that battle cruiser does manage to get out. Heads across to the other side. Nice. Serral with the burrow there on the workers. Lings and Roaches flood forward. They get rid of the rest of this army. GuMiho has been reset quite heavily. I love what he's doing. It's just... he's doing it against Serral. And Serral is... I mean, he's a brilliant player. +3 ship weapons are coming. But I feel like it's a little bit too late. Now with those Infestors, every time Serral takes one of those battle cruisers, he is going to use your Yamato cannon against the Terran army. Sounds weird to say, but you know, there you go. Worker counts, GuMiho's still got a decent amount of workers. But yeah, he's running out of steam a little bit. He's trying to remax. He's desperately trying to make as many units as he possibly can. 3 battle cruisers at a time, 2 tanks, 5 Hellions. Pressure comes in once again. The banks are starting to look a little bit thinner than they did. Serral comes from a good angle. He is going to break this position. More HELLBATS and Thors come to protect or come to help out, but once more Neuroparasite. Thor is converted. Another Thor is converted. That means they're going to be killing some more Terran units. Whew. Serral tries to get rid of the medevac with the Thor because Thors have some really good range. But GuMiho are able to get his units out in time. Oh, that's a lot of SCVs being caught in this Roach Ravager crossfire. 18 SCVs, 20 go down. There's Corruptors on the right side of the map. GuMiho's moving in with some Hellions and a single Cyclone, trying to get some damage done, trying to stop Serral somehow. But these Corruptors, yep, they're caustic spraying all over the place. It's disgusting to look at. It's so... Sorry. Moving on. A couple of Thors. Well, a Thor. A couple of tanks and a Thor on the other side. Pick up. Out you go. Having Medivacs with the mech army is actually a really cool strat. I think that's brilliant because it adds a little bit of mobility to this traditionally very slow and clunky army. Serral is getting his air upgrades though, so I worry for these battle cruisers. This base might be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, they are Corruptors. The Lings are on the ground. The base cannot land. Here comes the ACVs, but they're just going to be picked off by those Zerglings on the ground. Attack ACVs. Okay, there comes 2 Hellions to help out. How many Infestors have gotten down in this game? 13. Okay, but that is 13 versus 6 battle cruisers, 15 tanks, 17 Thors. 17 Thors. That's so much minerals. Now, as you can see, GuMiho's lost a lot more gas units. Actually, now Serral's lost more minerals. Okay, so now we're back in a battle mech. Here comes the Infestors once again. Infestors in the hands of the right Zerg player are dangerous. Thor's in trouble. Okay, the Infestor does get picked off, but the Thor cannot be repaired in time because a bunch of Biles. The tanks are going to go out. Medivacs are still alive. Baneling rolling forward, desperately trying to get a good connection with something, and it just gets nothing in the end. Okay, at the same time, GuMiho is flying the battle cruisers over here on the left side of the map. But this third base is in a lot of trouble. It's going to Yamato, a Ravager. Battle cruiser still flying around. 13 Corruptors on the production tab. Make that 18. I love Serral's using Burrow. Very good use of Burrow. This is still a strong army. GuMiho's supply is really low, but his army is really strong. But it takes a couple of neural parasites and suddenly this game is different. Big Biles. Oh, they connect with some of the BCs. The BCs lose a lot of life because of those Biles. Because they were stuck in their Yamato cannon. Oh. A lot of damage going down. Serral's desperately, well, GuMiho's desperately microing. Serral's trying to pick off all the battle cruisers with his Corruptors, but the supply is so low. He's on 99 supply. His army is strong, but I don't think it's that strong. Fungal growth on this mobile part of the army. And I think Serral is starting to break GuMiho. He's just going to run out of gas. Oh, Fungal onto the battle cruiser as well as Corrosive Biles. Once more. Alright, no Biles. He's just going to keep chain fungling. Really? Just kill it. There you go. So slow. Unlucky. Whew. 82 supply, GuMiho. Your mech is great and you're doing a brilliant job. You're making a fantastic game out of this, but he's a little bit behind at the moment. He's going to go for one more. He's got some HELLBATS once again. Tries to drop them on top of the Infestors again. He's going to do it again. The Infestors have to unburrow and move. Fungal growth goes down on the Medivacs. They are so low health. This is the last of GuMiho's army, and I just don't think it's enough. I mean, Serral's not a wealthy man either. GuMiho has been dealing good damage to his economy. It's 50 drones that have fallen to 58 SCVs, so you know, there's been good trades on both sides. Oh, be careful. Oh no, the Infestors come in a sneak attack. Here we have the HELLBATS dropping once again. GuMiho's just not gonna have enough. GG after he makes 2 smiley faces. Serral takes the game in what was an absolute blast. Having a grand finals with these 2 players was a real treat. And yeah, Serral comes out on top in this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more StarCraft 2 content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.